But we aren't there yet. We got Joseph Mckay out of the blue. He's taking on Gustavo Bessa.
Fight.
All black out of the red corner. You know, anybody that's named Gustavo has just got to have a leg up, right? I mean, the world of grappling, in popular opinion, if your name is Gustavo, you probably know a little jiu-jitsu. Okay. Joseph Mckay, black belt, only 21 years old. Gustavo, a decade his senior, also a black belt. Everybody here, it's black belt or better. Meaning you got a black belt in jiu-jitsu or you are signed by Scott Coker or you are signed by Dana White currently. Black belt or better. Gustavo's starting to reach outside the foot. I'm not sure what he was looking for. I love this position. Joseph Mckay going to like a little bit of a rubber guard, just reaching over, grabbing his shin. What that really does, though, is it locks Gustavo in place. This position right here, you don't see this a lot in MMA. This is a great position for MMA. If you're winning a fight, you just got to close it out. The guy knocks you down, jumps on top, he's going for one last flurry, and you just have to beat the clock and freeze him out to go. Right here, what Mckay is doing right here. This will stop any MMA fighter. Grab that, lock him on. The one thing about the rubber guard, guys, is it's just a flexibility. It's a different kind of guard. It's not guard where you're then using rubber techniques. No, the rubber guard is a completely different system. There's really three systems out there right now as I see it. You have the traditional guard, just known as guard. But that would also be the original in the first one. That would be like what Hoist Gracie and Rickson Gracie and Renzo Gracie brought us all in the very early 90s. You then go on to rubber guard, which is a system in of itself that was developed by Eddie Bravo. It's got its own techniques and it's got its own philosophies. You would then go to what the boys in New York are doing under the Danaher Death Squad. Those are the three systems that largely exist in all of grappling. And everybody else in between, from ATT to Gracie Baja to Straight Blast Jim, any way you want to do it, is a derivative of one of those three systems. Of either the Gracies, the Bravo, or the John Danaher. So ultimately you get in this competition, and it's much like the early days of MMA where okay, let's throw karate in there with Taekwondo. Let's throw a boxer in there with a judo player. You start to see what works, but ultimately it takes a little bit of time. Mckay's starting to look for a triangle here. He's got his lock on the opposite side. There's ways to finish. Okay, this is the better side. He fixes his leg, but he loses the lock. Again, Mckay on bottom. He is in the blue. Gustavo on top. He is in the black. Notice Mckay. Notice his right arm. He's got what we call an underhook, which simply means he is under the arm, which forces Gustavo to be over the arm. The underhook is exactly where you want to be if you're on bottom. That will allow you to maneuver your hips. That is Gordon Ryan 101 from the bottom. Get to an underhook. I don't know how close Mckay is to setting up a submission here. I'm going to see a little more from this position, but I will tell you he's going to be very effective in stopping Gustavo from mounting an offense. Mckay looking to use that elbow, push the head away. He's got some options here. I mean, he can turn this into a rolling shoulder lock very quickly. Mckay going to need to ultimately drive that foot that you're seeing in the air, his left foot to the ground. There, he's bringing his right foot over to create pressure. He's really trying to get that foot to the ground. If he can get it to the ground, he can manipulate the shoulder. Gustavo does a good job, loses the battle, but he brings his right foot over and changes the whole position. That was very tricky, I must say. Mckay now with his chance on top. Gustavo with his chance to start to work guard. Gustavo is a multiple-time submission underground veteran. Had one of my favorite matches. Took on Phil Schwartz. It was a great match. He ended up with the silver medal. Schwartz with the gold. But it was a great back-and-forth battle of technique. Now Gustavo's starting to extend here. This is a totally different position. He versus Nogi. It's a lot drier. There's a lot more options. Even the way that Gustavo is grabbing that gi. Now this, for the most part, is going to be a fake. As he's looking for that leg, he's really looking for Mckay to react, take that leg away, while not watching his opposite foot. We are going to go into overtime.
Gustavo.
All right.
You get to start on top. What position would you like? Back. Back. You'd like your back?
Gustavo,
Gustavo,
as he's picking this, is up against a ring post. Is not a sponsor of the show, but I'm going to give him a shout out because my friend started this. Cheese Chopper. You guys want to chop your cheese with ease, go to cheesechopper.com. Gustavo with the back.
And then you can have your
We're in the bottom inning of the first overtime.
Both ready? Go!
Notice Mckay. Mckay's doing everything the referee will allow him to do, which is he can grab one of Gustavo's arms with both of his arms. He cannot begin to pull down and apply pressure. So Gustavo on the back here. A lot harder to escape in the gi. It is a lot harder to just flip your hips, use the sweat, make this about fatigue, make this about one hard explosion. Much more difficult with the gis on. So we're going to see something a little more tactical here. Okay, gets those hips away. Gustavo comes on top. This is going to be an interesting call. The referee could say that he's out because he's lost the position. I believe he has now lost it. Referee agrees with me. Clock will stop.
What position would you like? Back.
Mckay does a very good job, gets himself free.
Face the camera. Thanks, sir. Whatever, one under. You both ready? Go!
All right. Now the reverse rolls. Oh, Mckay let that go. He had two hooks in. He let one go. And that's okay. If you want to figure four that, you can get away with just one, but he's not figure four in it. Surprisingly, he is not figure four. There, he brings it back. Okay. Mckay realized he's better off with two legs in than one. Now, right now, he's got one in. And again, if he were to figure four that, he could isolate that hip, but he's not electing to do that. Gustavo with wrist control. Even a little bit of sleeve control. Using that gi by Gustavo. Gustavo, whether he knows it or not, his bottom half largely is free. He can make one big turn. He could jump to his knees, change his position, put Mckay in guard, and the referee will stop this. Gustavo not doing that, any of what I just said, which makes me wonder if I'm seeing something wrong. Does he have that arm trapped? I'm not seeing quite where his right arm is. If his right arm is trapped by Mckay, that way, and it is. There, that angle showed it. Gustavo's arm is right there. See, that arm is trapped. You guys see that black sleeve coming through the leg? Oh, he's tapped. Wait a minute, he just tapped. I must have missed it. There was a choke going in, but I thought that I saw some gap. I thought I saw a gap between Gustavo,
Joseph
between the arm of Mckay and the neck of Gustavo. I'm going to have to take a look at this on the replay. I was focused on the arm. I was focused on why is Gustavo not trying to escape.